What's good, everybody? It's your boy L. Shay Duke Jackson back with another installment of the Hall of Game podcast. It's been a long time since we've actually ran the show. You guys know I've been tripping and been busy, but this is actually it's our favorite segment here, and this is dedicated towards African American men that are trying to come up together with a plan. Whether you're in entrepreneurship, your brother going back for postgraduate education. We do a lot of strategies, networking advice, and we're a professional African American male show. We do have brothers that listen from the UK, brothers listen from South Africa, but this is dedicated to professional Black men that have interests, and we cater it just for you. And I'm here with two of our well-esteemed brothers. All of us are college graduates, obviously. But we'll go ahead and let Brother Gabe introduce himself, and then we'll go with Dr. D, and then we'll go into the show.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Gabe A here on YouTube. Happy to be here with everybody. So I'm just coming through, right? My background is in electrical engineering, transitioned into nuclear engineering, and then eventually wound up in cybersecurity because some nuclear plants around the world had got hacked. So that was pretty much my introduction to this field. And now I work as a cybersecurity consultant for a lot of industrial control systems, or what you call in the nation like critical infrastructure. So those plants, those manufacturing environments, those building automation systems, I help to protect organizations from those things. So I'm here to kind of contribute. I do a bit of real estate also on the side. And yeah, man, I'm just happy to contribute and to, and also just another recent one, right? I've gotten to some adjunct. I became an adjunct professor for some universities here. So shout out to Dr. D for really putting that idea in my mind and making me go after that particular effort. So yeah, man, that's kind of what I'm involved in and happy to contribute.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother. And Dr. D, go ahead and let them know what's going on with your family.
Hey, this is Dr. D, Dr. Dix coming from South Carolina. Like O'Shea said, it's been a while since we've been on the Hall of Game. My background is in computer science. I have 20 years of experience. I'm an adjunct professor. I also work for the government, and I'm here to help contribute and to make things better for Black men. You know, we're entering the year 2021. It's just like yesterday. It was March. So we only have a couple of more days before we start off into a new year, and we want to start off on the right foot.
All right. And thank you so much, Doc. And for you guys know, I'm like 3 classes away from graduating myself.
Salute.
Yep. Bachelor's of Science in biology. I am a struggle entrepreneur. I'm actually pretty smart. You probably won't know it if you listen to my Celebrity Junks. But so I'm really big on the topic today, and I'm glad that we have this show towards African American men, so we could talk about it because there's not a lot of content that's like this out here, and I'm glad to have the brothers that are experts in this field. Brother Gabe, you came with this topic as you and Dr. D have been producing the majority of the Hall of Games of 2020. Why are we talking about developing systems today?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that one thing that happens is that a lot of times when you're introduced to an organization, or when you're new to a company, or even when you're kind of starting your own business and whatnot, one thing that people bring people in for is to give. So this is a very common thing that people say. Mm-hmm. I want to bring this person in to give a fresh eyes on this particular problem, this particular concept, or this particular system, right? Mm-hmm. They want fresh eyes. They want somebody to come in and give a different perspective.
Yes.
Doing that is that organizations don't want people coming into their organization a lot of times to just repeat what everybody else does. Right. And I think that that's one thing that's very important for Black men to do, is that not only coming into a situation, whether it's work, whether it's your own type of initiatives or your business, don't just come in just to do work, to perform a particular job, but rather coming in and being able to look at something and look at all the different parts that are associated with it. And not only look at those parts, but look at how those things are integrated, how they connect, how they maintain, how they depend upon each other. Not only that, you also want to look at how to make the. And I think that's the kind of really the foundation of what some of this discussion is the systems or systems thinking, where at the foundation, a system is pretty much like an organization or a collection of parts that are highly integrated and that are purposed to accomplish a goal. And a very good example of like a engine in a vehicle, right? There's a motor, right? Like that engine has a lot of different parts that work together, right? You have things that supply the engine with oil for lubrication. You have particular electrical components that provide power, right? And you have gas and all these things that go into an engine to accomplish a goal of providing power to.
Can you hear him? Maybe it's cutting out on my end.
Oh, I can't hear him now.
Well, was he cutting out?
Yeah, he was cutting out too.
Okay, go ahead. Say it again, Brother Gabe. I think the white man held him back. He was really building too, man. Let's see if he comes back. Listen to his Borgen. Man, he was really breaking that shit down too, man. Shit. Okay, well, let's go ahead, Doc, while he's coming back, and let's see what you go ahead and break it down.
I'll piggyback off what Gabe was saying about with systems. When you do take a job, when they hire outside people, they do seek people that can bring a fresh perspective and fresh look to the organization. As Gabe was saying too, they don't want people that do the same things the same way. They want somebody else that'll take a risk. And it's important for Black men to realize sometimes not doing things the same way is beneficial to your career and to your life. It will help your life out. It would it'll motivate you more and make your career better. I think I've watched Kevin Samuels and he said being average is comfortable for everybody. So when you come into a job and you do the same thing as everybody else, people like that. But when you decide to be different, that's where you get a lot of pushback from people. And that's where a big majority of your problems come from, because you're doing something different outside of the system. Can you hear us, Gabe?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to see where I left off at. Like, what was I saying?
You're talking about the integrated part or something to this.
In an electrical system.
Right. So I was saying that I think it's very important for us as brothers to be able to look at something as a system rather than just something as something that's linear. You got to look at all the particular parts and not only look at it, be able to understand the system, but also be able to improve upon the system. Because I think that that's where the real difference makers are in the world, because we've seen that, right? I mean, in the cell phone initially was this big old block. I bet in O'Shea's day, it only was attached to a vehicle, right? It was a big old block only attached to a car initially, and then eventually, we started having the snake game on it with the Nokia. Then we got the flip phone and everything, but then iPhone pretty much came and changed the whole game, right? That's improving upon a system, because the goal is to communicate to people that are not in your geographical or regional area. But they changed that thing into a handheld computer. So that's improving upon an existing system. And I think that when brothers take more of that type of idea, that you don't become a worker, you don't become a person with a job, but you become somebody who is a difference maker in whatever industry or environment that you're in. And that's why I think that it's important.
Okay. Let me unless you want to weigh in on it right now, Doctor. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Shout out to Virgil, Solo Brothers, appreciate your work. Uncle Tony, thank you for the $49.99. If guys anybody watch football, press one. My Niners lost today to the Cowboys, but anybody watch football, sports? Anybody watch sports? Press one. Football, press one. Comment actually your favorite team. I want to talk about this because I'm a 49ers fan. And Bill Walsh, when he was the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals in the 60s and 70s, had a quarterback that couldn't throw the ball deep down the field, which was the innovation of what we now know as the West Coast offense, which deals with a lot of short passes and, quick passes or timing routes. And, obviously it's been, revitalized by guys like Andy Reid, guys like Mike Holmgren, Mike Shanahan and some zone blocking schemes in Denver. But what is the West Coast offense? The West Coast offense is a system. Phil Jackson ran the triangle offense, which was a system. Pat Riley, he ran, it was a fast-paced, fast break offense. Mike D'Antoni runs a system. So it's a scheme, right? Even guys fight in boxing in systems. Like James Toney uses the Philly shell like Floyd Mayweather, and you have some other guys that like Willie Pep that had his, like V movements and stuff like that. So systems are what people use to get things accomplished for success. Yep. And when, as a younger man, I didn't really look at it like this. Even in college, I had no way of, studying or keeping my notes organized or, but now as I'm getting older, and obviously with the invention of other things, not even the internet, now you have, Anki, Quizlet. Systems are how you get everything accomplished, to be productive, to beat people, or to do things. The time you wake up in the morning is systematic. It's a scheme. The food that you eat, it's a scheme. The people you hang around, it's a scheme, right? It's a organization that you do. And the first system that I think one builds is within oneself to achieve maximum. And obviously, we're going to go over some things today, but to get maximum output, you have to have the system. It starts what time you want to get up. It starts what time you're going to go to bed. When I'm hardcore body, it starts and ends how long my phone is on. If I'm studying, when it's off. So, in other words, people who are really, really good at what they do, they live by these really tight disciplined systems. Like if you ever watch Larry Holmes, he fought very disciplined. Bernard Hopkins is a very disciplined fighter. It's a system, right? I think a lot of guys that have a lot of talent, that are just really, some people in medical school, there are people that are really, really, they get things in system. They can understand the diagnosis and all these drugs are the same in the upper limb. Here, I can group these things together. People really can, like you said, they can make connections really quick and study and get things done. But systems is how people that don't have a lot of talent beat people with talent.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we want to kind of get across. A lot of African American men, if we look at it, there are guys that really depend on their talent so much. And what you really need every day is what systematically helps you do things to get a goal, to integrate things for yourself, for other people. And that's the one thing that we need. That's what the millionaires do. Like Apple. We were talking about Apple products a little bit earlier. Apple, not only are they cutting edge in technology as a system, they develop that for their customer service. Like if you go to Apple Store, niggas are running towards you. Like, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing? Like Disney, same thing, right? You go to Disney, yeah. Disney's the same thing. They running towards like, wow, this system of customer service to retain clients is like amazing. Not only is their shit good, but they have a system to also treat. So not only to come up with cutting technology, but the personal side, Apple has developed that. Disney, Disney has everything, ABC, ESPN, movie houses. But if you go to Disneyland, they have that system also developed to retain the customer, to make you feel good, right? And the African American community, we kind of haven't developed that so much, right? And a lot of black men are behind, not because we don't have the money, we don't have the intelligence, but we just don't really understand that, like Andre Hatchett would say, systems are very boring. It's monotonous. It's something that you do all the time, and it's not this again. But unfortunately, if we want to have success, this is what we need to do. So I wanted to kind of open up with that. And shout out to Brother R.C. Coleman working on Master Social Work and Systems, our Central Stay Strong brothers. Brother Ryan, thank you so much. Much respect to successful black men. Brother Gabe, you want to take us into where we're going next?
Absolutely.
Or unless we go to Dr. D or who else? I don't know. Dr. D talked already?
Yeah, Dr. D, you
go ahead,
muted.
Doc. Yeah, anything.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I talked a little bit earlier. Yeah, you were talking about, because in society, people think if they're not smart, they can't be efficient and be productive in life. And as O'Shea was saying, it's a system. You take, for instance, when I was going to school in Pittsburgh, I wasn't the best writer writing a dissertation. I wasn't the best person, coming up there, but I had a system of getting my ass on a plane, getting up to Pittsburgh, getting there, doing my work, and getting back home. There were people smarter than me. There were people faster than me. But the system and discipline, as O'Shea was saying earlier, I had the discipline upon myself to write every day of the week on my dissertation. And I also had to do other homework. So the system that I created for myself made me effective, and it made things go better for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to do that as with Black people. Find a system that works, or when you have someone that has a system that has worked, don't knock it. See if you can implement parts of that system into your life to see what it does for you. Because there is no right way to get to the top of a mountain. When people say for instance, I want to go to Sacramento where O'Shea live, I can take the interstate, I could take I-10, I could get on a plane, but I could take a plane from Atlanta to Iowa to Minnesota to Montana. And I try to get anybody Black to think outside the box and say, you do not have to take the defined line in life that everybody else is taking to get somewhere. There's so many routes, and so many different methods to get to a place. And I read stuff on YouTube. I look at O'Shea's old videos from 15 to 16, and I look at pieces of it. And I looked at Coach Ali's video about finishing 2020 strong. That's where a lot of the ideas I had suggested, and that's how we came to this topic about systems and how you want to finish. Because we all know as Black men and Black people that the year 2021 is going to be a very weird year. And 2020 was weird enough, but we need to have a system to where we can prepare. And people have told me, well, what worked for you, Dr. Dix, won't work for me. I said, how do you know that when you won't even try it? I'm not trying to force my ideas and concepts on you, but if I went down a path and told you something doesn't work, how you gonna knock what I told you doesn't work? And somebody will go against me and fight with me about, well, that part of your system doesn't work. And see what people will do. They'll abandon the whole idea when that part does not work. And then they'll talk trash saying, oh man, he don't know what that nigga don't know what he talk about. Man, I tried his thing and I failed. They don't tell the other part of the story. So we have to see, what works and what doesn't work. Like for O'Shea, if I wanted to be a content creator, I would say, O'Shea, what did you do that work? What system do you have in place to see what I can do? And I would apply those concepts into what I'm trying to do too. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Let me read the super chats. Thank you, Doc. Brother Daryl, thank you so much. I think it is important for brothers to lower the priority of having fun and put time and mental resources into business development. Successful people have fun as a result of effective business system, not the other way around. Tag hard off. Thank you. Iggy, 6 figures. Define the word system. Do you mean daily routines? Please give examples. Thank you for the discussion. Tell us to take the ugly ass hat on. For me, I'm using the second definition because you're talking about interconnected networks, right? That's also true. But there's also the second definition, a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organized scheme or method. I don't know if you heard me earlier. Teams play within systems. Offensive coordinators create systems. The way they even, use certain verbiage, the Y route, X route, the X receiver. Those are things that are codes that work for a system to get things or plays done, right? That's what we're talking about. A daily routine, if that's your strategy to get things done in the day, that is a system.
Yeah.
Even if you're a person that's lazy, you're still using the system. It just doesn't work. So, but go ahead, Gabe.
Absolutely. And I think even another example, well, this is something that I think is really important for us kind of towards the title, right? To help brothers become more successful is that when we come into a certain situation, or just as we were talking about a system, a lot of times we come to be a part of it. We come to be one of those pieces within the system, but we don't look to improve it. We don't look for the problems. We don't look for the gaps. We don't look for the bottlenecks in making that particular thing better. So like an example, right? Because I think that one thing that happens is that we have very linear thinking. We think that if there's a problem or an issue with something, we feel like there's one solution and let's just do that. Like an example, right? So say for instance, there's a public health professional who is tasked to lower the obesity rate within a particular community. Let's just say a Black community, right? Because we know that that's one thing that's very integral, right? That we live on obesity, we live on fried chicken, we live on a whole bunch of bad food and things, right? Right? Same way in Detroit. So what the problem that they're trying to solve is to lower the obesity rate. A lot of people would just say, and this is what people say. I hear people say this on YouTube. People need to just exercise more. Just exercise more and exercise more and exercise more, and they'll be better. So this person sets up an exercise program, but that still doesn't solve the problem. And I think the reason why the problem isn't solved is because that's linear thinking. You're looking at one answer for something that has multiple parts. There's multiple variables that contribute to that obesity rate, right? It's not just exercise. That's one thing. But have anybody ever considered the accessibility to whole foods and healthful foods? Have anybody considered the safety of people actually walking outside and being in certain places? Has anybody ever considered, I don't know, other things? Well, because there's also social things that are there with individuals being obese. A lot of times within their family, the different restaurants and everything around in that environment. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to look at all of the parts and try to improve upon them all rather than focusing on one and be so linear in your idea of how to solve the problem within the system.
I can add to that. Back in April, I had to create a system to lose weight. I weighed 266 pounds. About 3 weeks ago, I weighed 233. And I meet with my nutritionist on Tuesday. I know I'm starting to look like a crackhead, so it's time to stop. And the system was, the nutritionist told me, you cut out all sugars. You cannot eat after 8 o'clock at night. Do y'all know how hard that was at first? Yeah. She said, you can't eat any sugars. You can't eat any oils. You can't eat any fats. You got to exercise 5 to 6 days a week. And I mean, this was when the pandemic really started. It was hot as hell outside. It was 100 degrees down here in South Carolina, and I live in the country. So I'm walking on the side road, sweating like I stole something. But as the system kept developing, when we would meet every 3 weeks, my numbers would go down. My body would feel different. And I've said on the panel before, diabetes and blood pressure is extremely high on both sides of my family, my mom and my dad's side of the family. And I started really focusing on eating natural food because Gabe was talking about processed foods. Do people have access to fresh vegetables? And the system kept getting better. And then we hit a plateau. She said, you got to change your system to make your body do something else again. So she said, you can't exercise 45 minutes. Now you got to do an hour. So I started doing an hour. I was stuck at 237. And when I weighed myself about 3.5 weeks ago, it was 233. Wow. So I've been on the same regimen. I mean, man, when I need to do something, I hit it hard because she even told me, she drew out on a paper plate, you can only have one piece of meat and the other half of your plate has to be vegetables. All you can do is drink water. She said you could have 2 splurge days a month. And I ate Thanksgiving as splurge. I thought I was gonna have to go to the ER because the thing is, my body I felt absolutely like shit because my body wasn't used to that high fat. And I told my fiance, I said, I'll never eat like that again in my life. I've had to throw out all my double X. I've had to throw out about hundreds of dollars of clothes. She told me psychologically, she said, get rid of your clothes that are bigger, because if you put them on, your brain is going to tell you you need to fit back in them. She said, get rid of all the clothes you don't fit in anymore. And that is the system that we're on. So as we're saying about system, that's a system right there that's working, and I'm going to continue to do it. I've never felt better in my life. I don't snore, I always had energy. I did not understand how much 35 pounds was on my body till you don't have it and your clothes fit better. So that's a perfect example of tweaking a system to get it to work for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me do this because I just real quick, Brother Gabe. Shout out to Brother Rance, he's on his way. So I want to talk about just basically from to go back to Gabe's aforementioned part when the podcast first started, which was using a system is an integrated parts moving all together to achieve one goal. And for many African American men that want to go into entrepreneurship, now you're depending on people to get this whole goal established, right? So for any of you guys who have been watching my channel, let's go back 4 years ago. My channel didn't look like it look now, right? It was just me, doing some streams, and then it was every now and then I'll have an edited video. I found Dima on Upwork.com. So Dima was my first person that I got. But if you look into 2020, at the end of 2019, I moved into the celebrity space with the concept called Dusty News Network. And it was just me and Dima. But at the time, it took very long for me to get like one of those videos out. And it was like very expensive. So, and I was spending too much time streaming every night. So I said, well, man, I'm burnt out. I need to be able to somehow get more help. So that's one of the things that I know. Like sometimes when you have something you're trying to do, let's say if it's a small business or a goal, now you need to partner with people who have skills that you don't need to make this whole thing work. That's why if you look at certain NFL or like look at the Lakers. When the Lakers brought LeBron in the first year, he was hurt. They really didn't do anything that year. In the second year, they went and got Anthony Davis, and then some additional pieces. They won the championship. So sometimes you need to go ahead and get people that you can get to believe in what you're trying to do to make what works. So I'm going to try to speed it up here. And so I was producing less content, and I was making less money. So when I went to Uganda, I built a PC that was about $4,000. And I had bought a laptop that I had brought from the States from this time last year. I took both of those pieces there to Uganda, and then I brought a guy from Kenya there. That's when the Celebrity Junk was born. Once the Celebrity Junk was born, I started to see like, oh, okay, well, we can do it. I'll still do it on camera. But then we moved to audio. Now, the audio allowed me to just record it, not get on camera, and then I can do like 7 or 8 of those a day. So
that's an improvement upon your previous system. Absolutely.
Yes. So now I could cover more stuff and not being so video intensive. But the problem is that we only had 2 guys and they couldn't do as many. And at first they were slow it was new to them. So it took them like 3 hours to do a video. So then we had to get another computer, and other guys to make it a machine like it is now. So fast forward to now, where if I wanted to put the Celebrity Junk out 13 times a day, I could cover it 13 times in one day, because now I got 6 PCs.
Wow.
and 5 guys that can do it right. And what I'm trying to say is, I've been able to say, okay, I can pay more people to cover this stuff, and I can spend less time doing it, because now the system works when I don't. Like if we're doing the Hall of Game, if I'm not on here, then we can't stream. But if I have a way I can send my stuff out Google Drive, I have the templates, all my guys are trained on what we need to do. Now I can get that content out, I can get those thumbnails out, so I have more time to do things now. That's kind of how I want guys to look at is continue to, establish a system and solve the problems in the business all the time. You're also talking about that, tweak it. There are going to be issues that are going to happen. Do you need more equipment? Do you need more people? Do you need consultations? That's another thing you might need. You have a problem. Yes. You don't know how it works. So, for example, I'll tell you, even our Kinganda channel. We have Kinganda YouTube channel. Sister Judy, if she's here, she could attest to this because I talked to her about it online. We wanted to get into the agribusiness sector in East Africa. We didn't have any connections. So what we needed to do, well, since we need to solve that problem, then we need to get somebody who's an expert. And that means we got to pay. And sometimes you need to do like what Dr. D says, is you need to pay somebody to give you advice. Now, that's another thing a lot of black men have a problem with. That is, you're trying to get something accomplished and you don't want to get the professional help that you need to do. Go ahead and get the professional help that you need to do because it's going to come back. And a lot of times when you want to get someplace, you can't figure it out all because you don't have the knowledge. But if you have the understanding and you kind of know where you want to go, somebody can come in and tell you, well, from my experience, this is not going to work, but this might work. And so once you can do that for yourself and you can even manage now, it's a situation now, I can manage, I can train employees, I can leverage. I know this business. I know social media content business. So that's the system that I've developed myself. And if you want to talk about money, you could scale it up to $1 million a year now. If you really, if that's what you do. That's the difference between making like $8,000 a month and what could be $100,000 a month, right? And why? It's because you have the ability to manufacture content or do whatever you need to do because you understand what you're doing now. So if black men can get it and stick with it, systems stick with it. Me and Demo worked on many projects for 3 years and didn't make any money. Now look at us, right? So when you have a system, you're developing it, you might not see the gains right up front. You might not see, well, man, just like if you're losing weight, or, I'm not losing weight, but the fact that you got up and you went to the gym that day, that's great. The fact that you give yourself credit for the things that you're doing and, always look forward to when you have a problem in your system or have a problem, then look forward to here's a chance for me to solve this. I'm getting closer because every time you solve a problem in the business, you're actually getting closer to it. So continue to work on it. Don't give up on it. Continue to try every day. Be more efficient in what you're doing, and you're gonna get there. I'm gonna tell you like this: a lot of black people are not gonna do this. They're just not gonna do it. A lot of black people are not going to do it, and that's how you can win. In the black community, if you come back to Black America and do anything, people are not gonna do it. If you do it and they don't, you're the one that's gonna be successful. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I absolutely agree. And I would even say, as it concerns a system, you are also a system. And I think that the brothers were mentioning that earlier. And sometimes I think that one thing that we can recognize is that in this, I guess, social media and just digital connectedness type of season or time in this world, one thing that we see is that we have a lot of distractions, right? One way to, and I think one thing that's important is that when distractions come in, it takes our focus away from the things that are much more important in life, right? Things as it concerns like business, building yourself up, being able to retain information. So as you can not only improve on a system as it concerns a business function, but also as it concerns you. So removing distractions, cutting off particular social media platforms from your phone and turning off notifications while you're trying to focus on a particular subject matter. I know with my wife, man, she is so diligent, man. She wakes up probably at 5 o'clock in the morning and she just kind of just clears out everything, all the noise. Cause right now she's in school for nursing anesthesia and she's getting her master's, and she literally goes for hours just studying and just getting information that she has to learn, things about different prescriptions and different measurements, different intubation techniques. She just goes in. And I think the thing about it is that she has removed so many of the distractions, even me, like, right? Because I'm not, right? I'm not bothered. I'm not about to wake up at 5 in the morning to bother her. Not at all. Not at all. Right. So I think that removing so many types of distractions allows you to focus more so that you can improve upon the system that is you. So it's the point that I wanted to bring up.
No, absolutely. Brother Wrench, you want to go ahead and let me shout out to brother Nick, brother Nick Penn, brother Roger. Do you get better? Oh my God. We'll leave that for the end of the show. Go ahead, brother Wrench.
All right, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah, how you doing? Sorry about that.
All right. What's going on, brother Gabe? What's going on, Dr. Dix?
Hey, what's up, man? What's good?
Brother O'Shea.
Good.
It's been a long time. I saw that notification and the StreamYard link. I was like, yeah, they're right up my alley with the process improvement. That's the first thing I thought about when we started talking about setting ourselves up and systems and listening to some of the commentary that you brothers are putting out. This really is my wheelhouse, and I always roll back to it on just about every stream that I'm on, right? But a couple of things that I'll talk about as far as what I've been trying to do in my professional career, and then how I've kind of rolled those things over into my personal life. When you think about systems, and for me, I always look at it as processes, right? Because processes are systems. One of the things I use is called a SIPOC, and this is something that I've used at work and I've used for myself. So you talk about supply, input, process, output, and then customers, right? Throughout those things that I just mentioned, where are the opportunities, right? How do I improve this system? Another thing for brothers to think about, man, is it's one thing to be told what the rules are, and then you have to kind of conform and you have to follow those rules versus, versus being someone who creates those rules, and those rules in turn, bring about change or bring about an improvement or improve a system or improve a process. A few notes that I took down real quick right before we started. The way that you do business should align with your goals. Another way to think about that is your habits should align with whatever you say that your goals are and what you want to accomplish, right? A couple of other bullet points. You should be able to look at an improvement from a couple of different angles, meaning I may have something that I'm really set on, and this is how I'm going to improve this system, or this is how I'm going to set this up. But know when to ask for help also, especially if you have someone who is well versed or somebody who has a lot more experience in those particular kind of systems. Know when to reach out and ask for help, right? That's one of the smartest things you can do. So those are a few bullet points and a few notes that I took down as it relates to what the subject is tonight. And I think that those are some things that brothers can really kind of like some real high level bullet points or notes that we can take when you start thinking about 2021 rolling around and not necessarily knowing what kind of year it's going to be, right? If it's going to be anything like 2020, then we should automatically be thinking strategic and how we are going to better improve our lives, improve our families' lives, and our significant others. So that's my 2 cents. As we continue on with the show, I will chime in and really take notes and listen to what all you brothers are, all the knowledge that you guys are kicking out. But yeah.
I was gonna say, man, let's just do this for the brothers, man. Let's actually mental model this thing or kind of diagram this thing out, right? You might be a brother who is listening right now who has been affected by the pandemic in some way. You might have been out of a job right now, or you might be kind of in between jobs. You might not have any steady income, or you might be having some issues where you're seeing that what you were doing before isn't contributing to what your current situation is, right? How would, I guess, a brother improve upon his situation in this type of environment, right? And just throw anything out there, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent question, right? You would approach it the same way you would any other problem. So you have to take a look in the mirror and you have to say, all right, where am I failing? And I put up the little quotation fingers, right? Where am I failing, or where am I not strong at? And then you start, slowly improving in those areas. If it's a situation where your back is against the wall and you really don't have a lot of time, then one of the most important things that you can do is you figure out, and brothers, please take note of this, you figure out what you are naturally good at that comes easy to you, and then you figure out how to monetize that. So if you are someone who you are Madden, you good at Madden, right? All you do is you spent a lot of time playing Madden, and it's more or less you just playing $10-$20 a game with your homeboys. You should figure out how do I monetize the skill set? Is it a YouTube channel? Is it some kind of traveling competition where you win X amount of money for coming in a certain place? Are there groups on social media where people actually play for money? That is once people figure that out, you figure out how to monetize what you're naturally good at. You'd be surprised at how far you can take it with minimal amount of effort, because it's something that comes natural to you.
Absolutely. And I think that another thing within systems, you need to recognize what the trends are, right? Within certain economic situations.
Definitely.
So we see that right now. What's the trend? A lot of people cannot work physically in certain places. People just aren't allowed to go certain places and be in a work environment physically. So the trend that we see is that a lot of the workforce is moving to a remote perspective. Pretty much everybody whose job has had the capability to go remote has had better work retention. So that's a thing, right? I want to continuously earn. I want to be able to provide for myself, but I'm also learning that the work that I'm doing in the overall work environment is moving to a more digital perspective or work from home thing. What can I do within work from home? Because that right there eliminates a lot of different jobs that are happening right now. You're not looking for the McDonald's. You're not looking for the Walmarts. You're not looking for those customer service. You're not looking to be in a physical sales place, but you're looking for opportunities that have the ability to be executed remotely. Right. And with that, just want to say one more thing and I'm going to pass it off. And with that comes the ability to do multiple jobs, right? Because you can be working remotely at one job and working remotely at another job from the comfort of your own home, right? Dr. D has done a lot of that. I'm starting to get into some of that myself. And I think that those are some things that, hey, if you're in that situation where you're out of work, if you're looking at these trends, you're looking at you need to be able to acquire skills that allow you to work from home.
Yeah,
I'm pass it off. My bad.
Nice.
One of the things is too, we talk about systems. A system is having vision. So you have to see what's not popular now, but what's going to be in need in 3 to 4 years from now. That's another way to keep improving your system. As we all know, work has changed forever. The brick and mortar places are going to go away. So there are going to be many people that work from home for the rest of their lives. And if you can, as Gabe was saying, find a job in this arena to where you can remotely log in through a VPN or do your work from home, you can have different streams of income. You can provide yourself with a different life because all you need to do is have a laptop or a computer. And as life is progressing and we're moving into a new year, I've said this since the middle of last year and years before, the pandemic is showing who had a system of preparation. If you look at football, you will look and you see a coach. We all know about football. You see the head coach with this big ass piece of laminated play cards and people wonder, I said, this is preparation. Life is 90% preparation, 10% execution. They have a play for every situation. That is their system of winning. The Dallas Cowboys, that's why they're so mad now. They have a system of winning. I am from South Carolina. The Gamecocks have a system of losing because 20 years ago, no, I'm just being real because we have Clemson and you have South Carolina. South Carolina, they were happy that they beat Ohio State twice. And in the year 2002, Ohio State went undefeated and beat Miami. That should have been a punch in the face that said our system is failing. That is a perfect example. A system, as we all have been stating, is to get better, to dominate, to make improvements. Because if you stay complacent, you're going to lose. There were many people. I'm 36 years old. I remember in the year 2000, I was in the 10th grade of high school. You couldn't tell people, hey, you might want to get into this system to get a better education or a trade so you will have a job. There are people now 20 years ago that system failed to. They're scrambling now to trying to find a job. And we don't know what next year may hold. I am just being honest. I think next year is really going to show who has prepared for life. And if you have a good system up, you will succeed. You will blow the competition out of the park. Because I remember in 2008, I was in college and we had the recession where everybody was losing their job. That should have been something that prepared people to say, I need to get a good system. Basically, I was looking the other day, the average median income is $50,000. I asked people, hold up, you want to live like an adult? I said, do you know it takes a system of $45,000 a month just to pay for your own damn self? I said, do you have that in a system? Do you have contingency? You know, we talk about contingency plans. You talk about those in business in a system, something that'll come in once something fails. I was talking to my niece. I said, it's going to take you $4,000 a month to live by yourself. Do you have $4,000? And I taught her the meaning between gross and revenue. Not gross and revenue, gross and net. I said, gross is $4,000. Your net paycheck might end up being $2,500. I said, you have to have a system in place. Your hot water heater may break. Your car tires may go flat. So it's just having a system to fill in ins and outs. You know, as we all know, having an apartment, having a house, something always breaks. There has to be a system in place to prepare you, to keep you moving forward. Because
let me add one. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, let me add one piece to that to make it very practical. One thing that you were talking about, future projections, looking at, hey, what is going away, what is coming about. So you might want to add something to your life to say, in the morning, I'm going to read 1 hour from some trusted resources that talks about trends in jobs. Easy, right? You can read even 30 minutes. You can have 3 or 4 websites that you go over every single day about future jobs or just trusted sites to give you a leg up to say, hey, I've read this morning, and this gives me an idea about what my future might look like. So that is just one little variable that you can add that will allow you to be more informed about the job market of the future.
Because every day, I'm going to say this, y'all know every day what I read, I go on and type in COVID-19 economy. I type in automation in the next 5 years. I type in housing market. I type in loan rates, you know, because all of that is changing every day. We got a memorandum that's going to end at the end of this month. I don't know. I know they passed the bill. I don't know if they signed it, but I don't know if y'all heard, we have $70 billion people haven't paid in since April on mortgages and rent. So now you have landlords that are about to be in jeopardy, because somebody would say, why are you worrying about that? That doesn't affect you. I said, all that affects me is affects my tax dollars. I'd like to know what's going on, because that helps me make my next move in life with my job or what else I try to do.
Yeah, let me kind of go back. When I first came to professional school, and I was like out of school from like 2007. So I came back, like I did a post back in 2011, 2013 at the UC Berkeley. And then I went back to work, and then I came here. So 2 years, obviously I forgot a lot of things. And then, you know, professional school is like sink or swim. So you have to develop things to stay in the program. Otherwise, you're going to, especially that weed out year. So what I found out is, you know, students in medical school were using spaced repetition. Most notably, like there's Anki now, and Anki and then Quizlet. And then what I also noticed is, like, how do you prepare for examinations that could come from anywhere? And anybody that's been in, you know, dental school, pharmacy school, medical school, everybody knows that Q banks, question banks, right? So I have a block on upper and lower limb, and anatomy. I need to go and find 500 questions and to understand and go through those Q banks to see, like, why though that answer is wrong, and why, like, one answer, like, go through the question, the case, and see what the page is going through, and I need to find out why that one's right and why that's wrong. And that's how every medical student studies around the world from exams. And And I had to learn that's how I needed to do that if I wanted to stay in the program. So what am I saying? And then I would also ask other people. Other things is that's the beauty of having a network. There are people that do things better than you, right? And then you figure out, how do you do this? There's a guy that he's right now. He actually graduated, came in with me, but he graduated. He's actually doing internal medicine, like leap year, and he's going to go into ophthalmology. The guy used to have like some of the best notes that I've ever seen in my life, and that helped me progress. So a lot of times, and if you're a person that is studying, it's studying is not always about being the most intelligent person. It helps. A lot of times it's about being the most organized person. Can you recall information? Can you space it out? Can you go over stuff enough? Can you put things together? Can you group certain things together? Can you compare and contrast things like that? Now, let me kind of shift gears and kind of go back into, where we're talking about with going into planning, Dr. D, I hate to say this, but Dr. D says right. When I went to Uganda, I had built that PC in September. It was $4,000. It was sitting right there for that long. And it cost me $850 to get there. Once I got there, I had a person that could use it, and the rest is history. A lot of times people don't prepare for the system to even take place, the way that you're going to do things. Because, I hate to say this, a lot of women can live day to day. Guys can't. And I know that sounds crazy. Because, if you date women, a lot of women are like, well, I'm just taking it day by day. We'll see how it goes. And, guys are more likely to want to plan things and, but a lot of black men, unfortunately, they're just living day by day. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. Now, obviously, you need to know how you learn, how you study, how you can organize things. Everybody does it differently. But you need to be trying to figure out what things am I going to have in place? Like if you have a job and the job is a shitty job and you want to leave, you need to be figuring out like, okay, well, if I leave here, then actionable things that I think I need to be doing, I need to be trying to figure that out by myself. Like now, I don't have to put it together now, but I need to kind of have somewhat of an idea so that at some point when I want to make this move, I can at least have something in place to move. Like when I went to Uganda in January, I had certain things already in place. I'd already been there like 10 times by that time. So, but a lot of guys don't think like that. A lot of guys think about, I'm going to do this and do that. And a lot of black men are not unsuccessful because of that. Black men you have to outthink where you're going to be. Otherwise, if you don't think about where you're going to be stuck with somebody who thought it out for you. For me, for example, I control my life. I'm never going to go back to making $15 an hour trying to sell for Tesla anymore or something like that. Right. And I did work for them, but that's not going to happen for me. It may happen for you, but I always pick things in my life so I can know that I can at least get here. And then when I get there, I can at least get there. My mind's always working that way. Like 5 years, 6 years down the line, my mind's always working that way. Like I literally, I was supposed to graduate last year, 6 months ago, but trying to put together a plan to pay for my tuition. I want to leave here with no medical school debt, which is something that I don't think anybody's ever been able to do, pay it off before they get the job.
That's the goal of your system. Boom.
Yes. So the thing that I know that I got going for me is I'm a very bright man. I'm a very intelligent man. So I can figure things out and I can make friends with enough people who can help me and give me information. I got big time friends that call me all the time on YouTube. You wouldn't even believe I told you. and they can give me information. I can give them information, and I can stay ahead of people. And once you tell me something that makes sense, I immediately try to go and do it, like right away, if it makes sense. For example, I'm gonna mention a guy, Stefan Klinkskills. He's a very intelligent man. I ain't gonna call him young man. If you tell him something that makes sense, he immediately puts the work. He doesn't waste any time. He does it right away. He implements it right away. That's something that black men typically don't do. It's like, you know it, where it sounds good. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll see what's up. And then you want to go back to being a little bit monotonous. But I say that all to say this. You have to develop plans for yourself, strategies for yourself, schemes for yourself. Otherwise, there's no way you're going to be able to go from point A to point B. A lot of opportunities in life, you're going to have to knock them down for yourself. Everything that I've been doing in the last 5 years, I've done it myself as far as knocking it down. Everything. From making maybe 30,000, or I made $70,000, and I thought that was great one year. I can make $70,000 in 2 months now. Not bragging, but I mean, that's just what it is. That can happen. So while I'm in school, it's possible. It wouldn't be impossible to make $80,000 in 2 months now with everything I got going on. But that's because I figured it out. And I consistently go back and I look at why this is not working. Well, why not this? And why not that? And do we have a person that can come in and do this? And I can consult somebody. Can you help me do this? And let me say this one thing. Bringing eyes into what's going on to what you have going on. A lot of times we have, like Gabe talked about, blind spots. All right, I know you're developing it and you think that it's great, but sometimes you need people to come in and look at what you're doing that are not biased like you. Yep. Because if somebody can add a 3% change to what you're doing, compounded over time, that 3% change is huge. I'm going to say it again. It's huge. If somebody can give you something that helps you 2% better increase, like, what's the difference between a basketball player who's up for a new contract? He shoots 38% from three-point line, or he shoots 41% from three-point line. That 3% difference is the difference between winning 6 or 7 games for a franchise. Who gets the bigger contract? The guy who's shooting 41% behind the arc. He's going to get a much bigger deal, right? That's 3%. That's a lot better if you think about it, right? So over time, 3% compounded could be a lot more to you in the long run. So let people who have experience come in and say, well, no, this doesn't work. This works, whatever. So that it can grow. Because everything it can grow as far as you take it to just a little bit. It can go so far. Then people have to come in and help you develop. They have to. Otherwise, it won't go anywhere. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think Brother Rince is probably next.
Go ahead, Rince.
Oh no, just kind of hitting on what you just talked about, right? And this one, I often touch on topics that I've already mentioned in previous live streams, but when you talk about increases, right, and increases by the percentage, one of the things I talked about in one of my early videos was the way that I added value to this business, so that when I sat down and we talked about annual increases, or I had to have the data to say, this is why I'm coming in with this kind of confidence, or this is why my chest is out this far and my shoulders are this square, because I have the data to support the systems that I've improved or the systems that I've put in place. This is how they added value. Once I quantified all of that, there really was no room to say no, and I'll get a little bit more granular. On a production line that I managed, we ran 3.3 million cases, right, in 1 year. That was my first year there. The next year, I was getting ready to move into another position. And when I pulled the numbers, I had increased productivity by an additional 300,000 cases. When you take that 300,000 cases and you look at how much those sell for a piece, that came out to almost $30 million in a year.
Wow.
As one person, implementing, putting processes in place, and even reducing head count across 3 shifts, and getting people trained up. That's the value that I added to the business, and it's all based on what we're talking about, systems or processes, right? This year it'll be somewhat of the same spiel. Not as much, not 300,000. It'll be about 100,000, 100,000 additional cases with a reduced head count. And not only that, doing it on multiple production lines. So I understand that that's how I add value to the business or to the industry that I'm in, and that's one of the things that I try to train brothers on how to do. Another part that I want to touch on too, man. Some of us have the ability to do a lot of those kind of things on our own, right? I know Brother O'Shea talked about it, but Brother O'Shea, I don't think he give himself enough credit. He's sharper than the average brother you're probably just gonna bump into on the street. Have a system, have a personal system of creating and maintaining a good name, man. Have a good name, right? And the reason I say that is sometimes you can have a system in place, or you can have a process in place where you have to lean on someone else. Someone else is actually an integral part of that process or that system. And if you don't have a good name, or you have a history of doing certain things that make people kind of iffy about working with you, then it's that much harder to build a solid foundation for yourself or plan for what 2021 may have in store. So those are the things that I wanted to touch on is understand how to mine data, understand where you can make the most impact, and then also understand how that impact adds value. If I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna work for the company that I work for today, and I want to do consulting, I still have all of the numbers to support that. Hey, these are systems that I put in place, and I keep using that term because that's part of the title of what we're talking about. I still have all the data, and I still have all of the processes and systems that I've put in place. Just me coming up with these, being out on the floor, looking at what's going on, taking notes, coming back home, kind of quantifying all that information, and then putting things in place to add value. I could go be a consultant, right? Literally travel around with a suitcase, in a blazer and slacks and nice shoes, and just do consulting work. So that's something I want the brothers to think about, man, is number one, understand how to mine data to show how you've added value. Understand how to quantify it, just in case you need to use that, or you need that to be a silver bullet to close a deal or anything like that. And then also having their own personal system of creating and maintaining a good name, just in case you have to lean on someone else to support what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and that good name piece is so important, man, because I think that a lot of times we underestimate what our networks and our relationships with people, how far that can take us in any endeavor that we do in life, right? Because I think that a lot of times, a lot of Black men, we allow our ego to go a lot further than it needs to go, and we burn bridges with one another, right? We pretty much disassociate ourselves with people because we didn't agree with what they were saying at that time. We overreact, we argue them down, and then we pretty much have cut off a piece of our network. Now, we don't know if that person is associated with somebody else in our future that could possibly give us an opportunity, or it could possibly be a situation which would help us in our lives in some way, shape, or form. So that good name, that good network, that integrity in the work that we do, and putting our egos aside, right, to really get to something in a more positive direction, I think is something that's so underrated. Because if you burn the bridges with everybody, you are on an island, right? And one thing about islands is that it's very difficult, like getting things shipped to islands. It's much more expensive. It's much more difficult to get to resources and places, right? You become right the only thing that is sustaining and maintaining who you are. So I think that it's so important to maintain a positive network and a positive relationship, not only with people outside of our community, but even within our community, man. So I think that that's really important. Even on YouTube, man, like, O'Shea, you already know how I'll hit you up and talk about like, it's a little beef here and there, or whatever. So, I think that that's really important, man.
Yeah.
Let me just say this real quick before Dr. D. I made a lot of money on YouTube by just keeping YouTube friends. Or just if I get into it, people will squash it. Like,
yeah,
I mean, look at Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels is huge. You know, if Kevin Samuels and me wasn't cool, I brought him into the space. Look at how much bigger he is than everybody else now. But because he keeps me in the light, because we cool, right? RB the Breakthrough. You know, who else? Alpha Male Strategies. All the guys. I have friends in the business that tell me other shit that's happening in the business. And if you can't maintain friends, you can't do that because you never know who the next big guy is going to be.
yeah.
I've seen it happen. I've introduced so many guys to the space that have they give me advice now, like Stefan, and they figure out things I haven't. So you never know. You just don't know. You know. So I encourage a lot of black men to understand that my bread and butter in this business is just for the fact that I got a lot of niggas I fuck with that like me still, and that have a decent name in this shit. And that has really kept me stable while other guys have been out of the business, coming into the business. I'm staying in the business, not even in this sector, in the pro-black sector, the Pan-African sector. What am I called me the other day? You know, it was him that helped me get the bag I got now. Lightweight. So it's good to make sure that you have friends that are in the business and that are doing really well. You know, all over the world, I got friends, you know, whether it's, you know, in the DJ community. So brothers got to understand that a lot of black men can help you make a lot of money and help you do stuff if you're cool. A lot of black men can help you make a lot of money, brothers. And speaking of that, here go big money brother right here, Black Heights. To my brothers, happy holidays, blessings and pieces at the end of 2020. Looking forward to joining the crew next year. Brother, you better bring your smart stuff over here. So guys, you guys really got to depend on black men. And I've done that. I've sold out to that. I depend on black men for my user base. You know, I don't have a lot of female followers. I don't have any female fans really that many. I just do everything with black men, and I've been successful in the business, still going hard in the business. So you brothers always remember that when you see brothers out in the street, you don't know who this guy knows, you don't know who he is. A lot of times you can speak to brothers. You never know who these people are. People can change your life. One person can change your life.
Hey, I want to tell a real quick story. And this is gonna be real quick. And this is pretty much over the last 2 weeks, right? So as I've been going through getting this permit for my brick and mortar for the shop, right? Since we're on the subject of having a good name, a brother asked me for some help at work. Now this brother has done quite a few things in his life. More namely, played in the NFL, right? Throughout his tenure in the NFL and between coming from college, I played at one of the big Texas colleges. He's built relationships with people in the city. Now, this is something that I hadn't thought about or even considered, but he asked me, I got a call one day and he said, hey, you know, I need your help with something. And I was like, all right, where you at? Come to find out, he needed to walk someone to the front door. And this guy is a pretty big guy, right? So, and the brother that I'm talking about who provided the help is fairly small, but I helped him with this, not thinking anything of it. Helped this brother with it, and you know, while we were walking, once we got the guy to the front door, I was kind of waiting on him to turn everything again since he was getting terminated. He said, "Hey, how's it going with your shop?" And I said, "Man, you know, I'm having these issues with getting the permits. Man, they losing paperwork, this, that, and the other." And he says, "Hey, if you need me to make a call, let me know." I was like, "Okay, all right, cool." So the next day, I shot him an email. Said, "Hey, man, I think I need you to make that call. You know, I think I've taken it as far as I can take it, and you know, I'm not getting any kind of relief from this situation that I'm dealing with." So, honest to God, true story. That weekend he said, "Hey, shoot me some information shoot me your address, shoot me your CO number, and shoot me the issue that you have." Man, this guy reached out and made a call, and this was literally yesterday. I was at the house of one of the state senators' son, who called the city councilman for that district where my shop is, and told him, hey, a friend of mine is having an issue, so on and so forth. That guy said, say no more. I'm gonna take care of it this week. So all of that boils down to having a good name. Now, if I didn't have that type of relationship with that brother, do you think he would have put his neck out to the tune of having someone who has the influence or has the power to reach out to someone who has influence in the city to make something like that happen? It's so important, super important to have that good name, man, because it's going to come a time where you need to lean on someone in your circle. And if you're doing things right, you should have a circle of people that you are able to lean on. That's one example that literally that happened this week. And then after actually getting to this person's home, who's fairly notable, he and I started, conversing, and he ended up asking, hey man, can you come out a couple times a month, man, and work with my son and show him what it is that you were looking at, and how to do exactly what you just did, because we were troubleshooting on an old car that he had. And I said, yeah, man, it's no problem. He said, well, how much would you charge me? And I was like, man, don't worry about it. There's no charge for teaching somebody who's trying to learn. But that's a prime example of having a good name and then being able to cash that good name in if need be. So quick example, honest to God, true story. Brothers, I'll put the name of said person in the in the little private chat. But just take note, brothers, man. You never know who knows who, and you may be able to cash that in one day when need be. So.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Oh,
Andy.
it got quiet. I didn't know.
He was waiting for your input, man.
Oh,
For sure.
there's an old saying that a lot of young folks, if you've been around old folks, a good name and respect will take you further than anything in life.
yes, indeed.
That's an old saying that a lot of young kids don't know about. And living in the world that we live in now, your name travels. We've talked about this on the show numerous times. Letters of recommendation are more powerful than a resume. Somebody could call to pick up a phone and vouch for you, as Wrench was saying, that, willing to stick their neck out for you. And it's just having a system of people, as everybody else has been commenting, to help you get through tough times, to help you see through the fog, and just to knock out obstacles, because we're going next year is going to really see who's really prepared. And black men, you just want to be on the other side. I don't know, y'all have all heard of Jack Welch, and I watched a lot of documentaries and read his book. I need to finish reading it. And one of his things was, you want to be in the locker room. You don't want to be in the locker room when there's you want to be out on the field where the confetti's falling. You don't want to be walking to the locker room with your towel over your head. You want to be on the winning side as much as you can. You can't always win, but you want to try to win the most that you can. And preparation and having a good system is one of the main things that is appropriate to attain that. And nobody's going to do it for you. I was riding today and I was thinking to myself, I said, I'm getting to the point now, and I got to stand more on it, to where, and we all know about football, I like using sports analogies. I'm getting to where I don't need any safety help over the top. I want to be the Deion Sanders in life, to where man on man, bump and run, I can deal with what's coming my way, because you have to be like that in life. As you see, if you have an explosive receiver, just like in life, if you have things you can't deal with, you always got to have help. You want to try to get to the point to where you can deal with things on your own, because there is nobody out here to help you. As a black man, that's one realization as I get older that I see, as O'Shea was saying earlier, women can live day to day. If I go to a food bank and ask for help, they're going to look at me and say, you a man, you shouldn't need any help. I try to prepare myself to where nobody's going to help me. That's the honest truth. And the people out here telling young kids that's a lie. Oh, people will reach out to help you. If you're married and your lights are off, who are they going to look at in the household? They're going to look at the man. They're not going to look at the woman. So you have to put a system in place to prepare for that, to overcome obstacles, and to move your life forward, and to have vision. And one of the systems, I don't know if y'all been looking at the stuff with SpaceX. People laugh. I watched the YouTube videos of when Elon Musk can't get the rockets. I think the last one, the legs wouldn't come out. Every time I watch one of those rockets go up and they fail, that is progress because they're getting closer to the goal. And people will laugh and say they wasted $200 and $300 million. I said, if I don't know if y'all watched it before they initially sent the spaceship, the first launch, they failed about 20 times. And that's one thing I try to get black men to see. There's nothing wrong with failing. You should learn because we have this thing to where, people gonna talk down to you if you fail. I've gotten fired from jobs when I was younger. I'll tell anybody, you could pull my card. Really, I got fired from jobs. Like, who hasn't got fired from a job? And that's one of the biggest things when I first found O'Shea about 5 years ago that connected us. He talked about he got fired from his job. And when I first started listening to O'Shea, I said, this dude went through some of the same things I went through. And I just kept watching him and built on with it. So black men out there that's listening, do not let people make you feel bad for failing at anything. If your family makes you feel bad for failing at something, get rid of them, because your family will be the main people that when you fail at something and then when it succeeds, that's my cousin, that's my brother right there. Push them off and get rid of them. I do that now, and I don't care. I would say it publicly. If you was not with me when it was all low, you're not going to be with me when it's all high. You could be a blood relative because people have that tendency. You trust the process in your system. They kept laughing at you, talking about, oh, man, that wasn't going to work. You done failed 50 times, man. And then all you needed to do is work one time. Once you succeed and everybody want to come around you, black man, you just have to remember, once you get to that point of your life, get rid of those folks because they were never there with you from the beginning. They just want some clout. You know, I watched a lot of the O'Shea videos, the celebrity junk. They want clout. They still gonna be sandling it up and you know I go around saying that to people. I'm like, damn, I would watch 2 million on that O'Shea video. Y'all out here sandling it up and stuff, man. So
we gotta be kind now. Yeah, we gotta be kind, man, to O'Shea, because I think it's probably like 4:30 where you at, ain't it?
Yeah,
or coming up on that.
Yeah, I got about 10 minutes. Let me shout out to you for the donation. I went and got before the billions. I appreciate you guys.
I just saw you looking tired over there. That's all.
No, I'm good. I got 2 more minutes, but I wanted to say real quick before we go back to you guys. A lot of black men.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things for me is it's not even about a money thing, and maybe not even I want to step outside of the system thing. But one thing I know, I'm a bet on myself. Fuck what everybody else talking about. Like, one thing I believe in me. I believe that I love myself, so I'm not gonna let myself down. And once you feel like that, it's kind of hard to be the person like that. You know, a lot of brothers gotta really believe that you can get something accomplished. Obviously, you're gonna have some doubts, but believe in you and believe in whatever scheme or system you're trying to be, you're achieving to get success. Believe in that, because sometimes it's gonna only be you and what you believe is the way to get there, which is your system or scheme to get it accomplished. And some other people not gonna believe it, and fuck them. I hate to say it like that, but it's not for them to believe it. It's, nigga, do you believe the shit? That's all that matter. You know, when I was coming to Poland, people thought I was crazy. Uganda, that was even worse. Why Uganda? Like, where's that at? You going to go do what out there? Like, why not Ghana? Why not Joburg? Like, why? I believe in me. I believe in what I'm trying to do. So once you believe in what you're trying to do, it don't matter what nobody else believe in. Bet on yourself. And you'd be surprised at what you can get accomplished when you bet on you. A lot of brothers is taking advice, like Dr. D said, from niggas who ain't shit, can't even read or write or whatever. These dumb niggas don't understand anything about life or success. And the you got to step out on faith and believe that you have the tools to get it accomplished. You might not have all the answers, but you can always revise. You know, you can always go back and look at things and see why things don't work like Brother Rent was saying. But believe that you can get it done. Other people have gotten it done, so you can get it done. Like even studying medicine or engineering. I mean, I used to be intimidated by some of those things. I'm not intimidated by those things anymore because I know that if people have graduated dental school, medical school, law school, it's anybody can do that if they want to do it. It's just, how do they do it? Sometimes you got to ask people, how did you do it? You'd be surprised. Some people will tell you how they did it. And you can take what they did. You can add what you can do, how you learn, how you do things. Because you do things like you do things, right? So you can put things and take things and leave it. So you don't need to be intimidated by anything as long as you're willing to put in the effort and bet on yourself that you're going to get it done. And once you have that mindset that you're going to get it done and that the only way you're coming back is in a body bag, and then you're going to be all right. Once you have that idea, it ain't going to be too many people that can fuck with you like that. If you're not a person that's going to quit, long as you think that I'm here to do what I got to do and I'm going to die before I get it done, then you be a hard nigga to fuck with. But if it's anything less than that shit, then a lot of you niggas sit your ass down. I'm just going to be honest. But if you come in with that kind of mentality, I'm betting on myself. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm going to do what I need to do. If it takes getting up at 4 a.m, if it takes getting up at 3 a.m, whatever you got to do it, you got to do it. Especially because you're a man, right? I mean, nobody wanted to hear why you couldn't get it done. Let me say this, I'm going to be quiet. I have sympathy for black men, I really do. But one thing that people don't want to hear is why you couldn't do it. You live in America, people going to look at immigrants and see their success. Guys who can't speak English, guys who coming from Asia. People come to America and don't make excuses for themselves. And here you are, somebody living in America all your life, and you're a U.S. citizen, and you're gonna make excuses as to why you can't. Stop giving yourself excuses to why you can't do something. Just do it. If you fail, it's fine. I failed classes. Shit, I failed classes in this program, right? But I ain't failing nothing else. My mind is, I'm going to do what I came here to do. And that's what you need to really be concerned with. Be concerned with that. And, press toward the mark. Every day, you do better, you get better, believe in what you can do, you'll get there. Sometimes it take you longer to get there. Like Gabe was talking about it with COVID. Sometimes your plans is off a little bit. And you're like, well, damn, they doing this and I'm not doing this. And they doing this. And don't worry about that. You get there when you're supposed to be there. It's all about in due season, right? So, I wanted to say that, give brothers a little bit of, confidence, believe in your ability. Because if you don't believe in you, I can't believe in you. Your girl can't believe in you. Who can believe in you, nigga, if you don't believe in yourself? So go ahead, y'all.
I was gonna get ready to go, and like they used to say in football, when people want to doubt and talk shit, point to the scoreboard. That's all you got to do, black men. Point to the scoreboard. Point to the scoreboard. If somebody ever want to talk trash to you, say, okay, what the scoreboard say? That's all you got to say, and that'll kill the conversation. That's how, I was thinking about a lot of that. This has been a good Hall of Game with everybody came on it. But black men, we can do whatever we want to do. But like O'Shea was saying, you gotta be willing to take the hits in the pocket, and you got to be willing to commit to the throw. But that's what I'm going to tell folks next year. Anybody that want to talk trash, point to the scoreboard. Look like I got the W up there. Look like I'm up by 50.
Oh, yeah.
Game over.
You killing them out there. Let me just reach out to shout out to greatness. Respect to Jackson. I don't agree with him 100%, but I respect your grind. Thank you, brother. Aisa A. Thanks to the Hall of Game. Good to say, brother. Always supporting. O3 Z. You have introduced me to several other YouTubers through your platform. Salute to O'Shea in the panel. And there was a sister that donated before the billions. There was another sister here. I think it was her, right? Jamie's Models and Directors. You have the most unbiased show. Yeah, baby, I'll roast everybody. Go ahead, Brother Wrench.
Yeah, man. As always, brothers, make sure y'all taking notes and applying a lot of this information that the brothers present. Man, this is some. It really is some life changing information that passes through this through this channel. You know, some of the main bullet points that I want to reiterate and make sure that brothers don't forget about having that good name, like Dr. Dix just said. Don't be scared to go across the middle and take that lick. And then also figuring out what you're naturally good at, figuring out a way to monetize it, and using that to change your life. I appreciate being on the channel as always, man. Got to do it more often. Brother O'Shea, appreciate you for all the work that you do behind the scenes, brother. And Dr. Diggs, Brother Gabe, brother Antoine Wade, man. All of you brothers that take the time to respond to those email chains and throw those ideas in there, man. That stuff is refreshing. That stuff is refreshing throughout the week to see brothers still on it. I know a lot of times some of us can get caught up in our day to day, but I appreciate you brothers for staying the course, man, and really driving this kind of stuff home.
Let me add one thing before we go to Dr. D, and I'll let him have the last word. But I will be back on tomorrow, guys. Let me just say this. For a lot of guys, there's a guy named John Paul DeZoria. John Paul DeZoria owns Patron. He owns Paul Mitchell Hair Care Products. A lot of times, I'll say this in YouTube. I worked with the African diaspora for like about 14 months, kind of like on a intern, if you want to say. Wasn't a lot of money involved, but I was able to like learn more about the business from him. African diaspora is, the biggest channel on Black YouTube, and I still to this day thank him for that, because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I didn't do that. And at the time, I was already making like, $10,000 a month easy, $11,000. I'm not afraid to tell nobody that. But I needed to grow. The only way I could grow is to somebody that was doing better than me. And I had to bring something to the table. So a lot of Black men, sometimes you might need to do things. It goes back to that old internship thing. Internship and working with people, maybe it's for free. You're trying to gain knowledge. Why do you want to gain knowledge? Because the people who are doing better have a better system than you. That's why you want to gain knowledge. It doesn't matter that you have talent, but they understand the business better than you do. They understand certain things better than you do. So all you need to be focused about is, I'm not worried about money at this time. I'm worried about strategy. I want to know, how does a big channel work? I'm worried about, in terms of YouTube, this is what I'm concerned with. And for a lot of Black men, you sometimes have to forget about the money and understand, well, what is the concepts? How does this work? Then once you learn that and you need to get, okay, now you can go back to your own, and then you can do it again. I would still do that again with a bigger channel. Sure, you can never learn enough. So don't ever feel like you're too big to get mentored or to work with some other people who are doing better than you, or be subordinate to somebody's. Because the more information you know, that's game. That's just more knowledge, and you have more of that to your arsenal. It's hard for you to understand the system if you don't see one. Like D.L. Hughley used to say, in order to be a man, you got to see a man. Remember that? So if you don't see the system, how do you know how it works? Because you need to be able to study somebody else's shit. Like if you look at all the people that play basketball, Kobe Bryant looked at who? It was Jordan. That was the model, right? If you look at now, a lot of guys are coming in the league. You look at, Steph Curry, that's the prototype now. So people are studying the way that the guys who are successful play. And even if you're a YouTuber, you look at the guys who, like, well, how does he put out this? How does he do that? So anything you do, you look at the guys who are doing the best, and then you want to learn with them. You need to try to say, how can I work with you? You know, what can I do to learn from you? Then when you get what they're doing, that information that they're gonna give you, you might not get $1 for it. You might not get paid for it. But what you might get is a lifetime worth of knowledge worth millions of dollars. So look at that, you know, look at volunteering, look at, you know, going to different places, asking if you can intern, asking if you do things, asking if you can, you know, sell yourself to do stuff for free so that you can learn. The more that you learn, the better effectively you can be. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry. Oh, you're on mute.
I don't have anything else to say. I appreciate, you know, I know you're busy with med school and everything, and you probably gonna send me or Gabe emails to spam because we say, hey, we're doing a show, we're doing a show.
Well, I'm out until the 4th. So I'm staying in Poland. I'm stuck here, man. It's closed down. All I got to do is, you know, I'm just studying in the morning, and then, you know, tonight, you know, but my schedule is pretty free because I have like 16 days off. So I don't have class tomorrow.
Well, yeah, I know you're busy with everything, and I'm glad we can still keep this show up, man. You know, I'm glad to see people like Kevin Samuels and a lot of the other guys, you know, blowing up. I see a lot of videos with his name in it. So, you know, I tuned into his channel. He had about 10,000 people on it now. So it's amazing. Yeah, he's blown up. So
and people don't know that was strategy. Like, Kevin Samuels. Listen, Kevin Samuels wasn't as Kevin Samuels worked on his entertainment part of YouTube. He was not an entertainer. He is considered that now, more so. But that was a skill he worked on to be effective on YouTube. Remember the show he had with Ramil? That was his first. He tried that first. He went back, got a consultation. He picked what? 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Because there was nobody going to be there at 10 o'clock at night. That was also part of this the strategy. And he does a show Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
He was trying to get a hit show before, and it didn't work. Then he came back. Right? So a lot of guys think like, oh man, well now everybody's trying to do what Kevin Samuels doing. No, you can't do it because he's been trying to do this for a year. He's been trying to perfect this. He's been thinking about this. So
that's good. I'm proud of him. You know, it's good to I'm good. I'm glad we're proud of what he's doing. He's standing firm and standing up. So that's good. So I appreciate it, O'Shea. You send an email out tomorrow. See how my schedule look. I might could do something tomorrow evening too.
All right. Well, y'all niggas gonna give me an idea tomorrow. Nigga. I'm tired, nigga. So I don't know.
Gabe or somebody.
I'm not gonna be able. So guys, I want to just tell you, brothers, man, thank you for the support. You know, I know the celebrity junk is been really catapulting the channel. I thought about leaving you niggas alone. I really did, because nigga, this celebrity shit, nigga, it is like crack, nigga. I was acting so light skinned, nigga. I'm gonna be real. I thought about leaving you niggas all the way alone and not doing shit for y'all because I was pissed. Okay, I'm looking over at seeing what Kevin doing. I'm seeing it. I'm tired of dealing with you niggas. I was done, nigga. But I said no. I got to get back to, you know, what it is that I'm passionate about, which is, you know, wanting to assist African American men and other things. I entertain y'all too, but this is really what this is my favorite show that I've ever done, and I thank the brothers for, you know, really being considerate of the plight of the African American men. And, you know, wanting to see brothers do better. We have a lot of talented brothers out there that don't get enough shine, that are in business, that are, you know, in academia, that are doing a lot of great things. And I'm just glad to see that the brothers are coming to the forefront. I do have an interview, I believe, with Brother Ike again this week. So we still going to be doing some things, some one-on-ones with some of the brothers from the hall in shorter segments. So I'm really thankful that you brothers are appreciated. I didn't think we are gonna get that many people tonight, but to get 300 people almost talking about a self-improvement thing, that's pretty good, especially with dealing with y'all, because we know y'all niggas don't like to read and write sometimes. Yeah. you know you Negroes are. So Yeah, I'm very pleased. So tomorrow we'll bring it back, guys. Thank you guys so much. In all seriousness, we want to continue to do this. So, any last words?
Nah, I'm good. I'll talk to everybody tomorrow night if my schedule permits.
All right. See you niggas possibly tomorrow night. Bye bye.
All right then.
Peace.